Welcome back to another playoff episode of Up in the Blue Seats, our Rangers podcast from the New York Post. I'm former Ranger Brian Boyle, alongside beat writer Molly Walker and our Hall of Famer Larry Brooks. If you're watching us on the New York Post Sports YouTube page, do us a favor, smash the thumbs up button below and comment below. How are you feeling about the Rangers, whose 3-0 lead is now 3-2? How are you guys feeling? Start with you, Molly. How are you feeling about the New York Rangers?
Listen, 2 swings, 2 misses. Borderline didn't even really swing the second time around. Look,
Didn't even get up to bat.
I actually just started writing this for the newsletter. I'll admit it, game 5 felt eerily similar to game 5 of the first round last year. Obviously different circumstances, but the lack of urgency um, felt pretty similar, which is obviously not what you want. But again, different team, different season, different coach, different attitude, I think. They got a couple more stabs to do it here. Obviously, they don't want to have a game 7. They do have home ice advantage, but I think that obviously invites a lot more doubt and a lot more outside noise if that happens. But look, they just got to win one more game here. I think that no one was expecting them to go 16-0 in the playoffs. Never been done before, and don't think it was going to be done. But it's not great, but I'm not hitting the panic button just yet. So that's how I'm feeling. How are you feeling, Larry?
Couple of points. I think it's interesting that the psychology is so interesting to me here because yes, in one vein, the Rangers, they don't want to play a 7th game, but they don't want to go in there saying, "Oh, we don't want to play a 7th game. We don't want to play a 7th game," and then they're playing a 7th game. You know, so and again, everyone talks and Brian will speak to this, but everybody talks about the psychology of the playoffs, that you have to manage your mentality every day. You have to manage the mindset when you win the first game, when you lose on the road, when you win a triple overtime game, when when you're down in a series. I mean, that's what everyone talks about all the time. And so this is going to be obviously a significant factor for the Rangers as they approach it. On the ice, though, they have to make some adjustments. I don't really quite get what happened last night. Yes, it is obvious they were overwhelmed in the time and space battle. They didn't win it. They won, no one-on-ones. They just did not play. They came with no attitude. I get that, but I don't. So there are adjustments though they're going to have to make on the ice. I mean, they have no time, and Carolina has all the time in the world. So that's going to be on the coaching staff. And that was one of the issues last year, that Gallant's staff couldn't make any adjustments. They didn't make any adjustments. They didn't make any adjustments. They couldn't stop Jack Hughes. And Carolina did the next round. So it is going to be on this coaching staff to make some adjustments to A, slow Carolina down, and B, to create some time and space for the Rangers.
Okay, I have a number of ways we can go with this. Number one, they were 20 minutes away from seeing, I think, what we've known of the Carolina Hurricanes the last 6 seasons be blown up. They were 20 minutes away from that team down there in their division getting dismantled. I think. We'll never know. Having said that, they weren't good. And I have theories that, I mean, it's like a line of scrimmage in a football game. and they're all spread out. So I would consider Carolina, if you're going to compare them to a football team, a run first team. And when your defensive line is all spread out, you're going to run it right down their throat. So in what you were saying with the battles, Larry, the one-on-one battles, even if you disrupted a play, the second guy on the puck was always wearing a white and red sweater all night long. They were spread out. When they got the puck, they were looking to get rid of it to someone to have them do the work. It was it could have been a confidence thing. It could have been a let's not get beat thing instead of let's go win thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the stall goal, I mean, I have to look at it again to see if all 5 guys were in the wrong, but at least 4 of them could have done something different. Miller a little bit, but I give him a pass. I couldn't believe what I watched on that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the least of the culprits, I suppose, is probably Schneider. And he's the one that got beat, and he's probably the one that's going to catch all the heat. It was a flyby from Rossovich. Like, that is day one, don't turn your back on the puck stuff. And he just went for a skate in the neutral zone. They were disjointed all over the ice. So the challenge now is, you can't make adjustments to that. That was so out of the ordinary. It's not like we can tweak some things. It's not like we scored 2 power play goals in 23 seconds. Carolina adjusts. They don't go flying out to the points anymore. Now the power play is having trouble. That's an adjustment that Carolina could make, because at least they're doing it in unison. They did everything in unison. The Rangers just combated that in game 1, and we're ready for it. So now you can't adjust what we saw last night. That's just, you have to sort of go back to square one and say, this is how we play, and be confident in that, because we're a really good team. So that's why I think it's a missed opportunity. That's not their game at all.
You know, what was interesting to me is that the energy level, the vibe was off from the start.
Yep.
Really from the first shift. It seemed like there was something off. They never went, as you said, they never tried to get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was an odd vibe in the building last night. Then, and I think the fans picked up on it. You know, I think the building, you know, was filled with nervous energy. It wasn't particularly loud. It was a bad night. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's now, yes, they if they score another goal in the third period in game 4, you know, Carolina's over.
Mm-hmm.
If they follow up the tying goal, you know, but they didn't. And instead of coming home with an air of confidence, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I do think there's a line between panicking and being stubborn. So I do think, you know, they will certainly have to look at making certain tweaks, whether it's lineup, you know, whether it's changing some of the line combinations. Maybe it's going back to their original D pair. Maybe it's putting Zach Jones in the lineup.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question I'm to pose to you guys, because I had a lot of people on subtext asking me if I thought that there was going to be lineup changes, personnel changes, and also someone asked about the power play. I don't see the power play in particular getting broken up, and Laviolette was actually asked this question this afternoon on a conference call with reporters about how does he weigh the prospect of making changes versus sticking by his team. And Larry, you were on the call too, correct me if I'm wrong. I did kind of get a sense that he was more so talking about how many times they've had dud games like that and then come back and responded incredibly well, which they did all season long.
Yeah.
So to be honest, if you're asking me, I don't, aside from the inconsequential 13th forward, whether it's Johnny Brodzinski, Matt Rempe, or Philip Hedl is available, I don't really see him making, especially dramatic changes. But I don't really see him making adjustments. What do you guys think?
I think you play Matt Rempe more. I don't know what they're doing. He was the only guy that he's the only guy that got above a passing grade for me up front.
Hmm.
I mean, he creates. They had nothing. They got nothing to the net. They got nothing in the zone. He had a breakout. He went to his off wing, picked it up,
Mm-hmm.
took it out, went to the net, and if he's 6 inches more to Freddie Anderson's right, it's maybe a screen, and then who knows what happens. I think you got to give him more leash. I understand why maybe they don't. I don't.
I think
I think Miller and Schneider.
Last change in Carolina might have a factor too.
Let him go. He's not a liability defensively. I'm watching him closely. Obviously, a lot of people are. I think the more he plays, the better he's going to play. He's a big man. It's really hard to play short minutes, to move your legs. You've seen it with Schneider. He got more minutes and how he's played. It's not just a between the ears confidence thing people think it is. It's an actual, physical change in your body when you're.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would like to see Jimmy Vesey be on the ice a lot more.
He needs to be on the ice more.
Jimmy
100%.
Vesey brings pace, speed, and I think that I'm moving him up with Mika and Kreider. And I understand. I am not making a scapegoat out of Jack Roslovic. I understand that it is on Zibanejad and Kreider to get their line going, but they do need help. They need help, and I think Roslovic, has had his moments in the playoffs, but there's no forecheck at all. Jimmy Vesey, that's what he does. He's digging pucks. I think obviously he didn't play well in game 5. Nobody did, but I thought he had a really good.
He's trying to create something out of nothing. He went down on 1-on-3, got a shot on net. Like, they couldn't get shots.
No, and again, we're now we can talk about the bottom 6 and how frustrating it is that Wenberg is, his offensive game is just broken down entirely. They have good puck possession, but really they don't do very much with it. Kakko's never on the ice for a goal. It just never happens. But it's their top 6 that needs to score. And this is about now. It's about this team. But 2 years ago, they're up 2-0 to Tampa. None of their big guys scored the rest of the series. Last year we know what happened in a kind of a dysfunctional setting. So here we are, and it's probably unfair to just fixate on 2 games, but it's 40% of the series. They played 5. It's 2 out of the 5, and so the last 2. There's been nothing from the top 6 except for Lafreniere in Carolina in game 4, who I thought was right up there with one of the most disappointing nights. I mean, you figure out this guy, now he's going to flex. Now he's going to strut his stuff. He has just had a platform game. He was nowhere last night. We couldn't, he was as bad as anybody else, and he's not 32. He's not, so that was, I thought that was very disappointing. They just need much better memory. But let me ask you though, would you keep the D pair, or you would switch back?
No. Yeah, I don't think you can. I honestly think that especially with, I know we're not developing a pair in the playoffs, but I think their best game, you expect to have their best game, and that'll give you more than what it was prior to that. Like Schneider playing more and playing his best. Like, he did get beat, but again, he had numbers and then he didn't have numbers. That's a terrible change. You can't change there. Panarin gets beat. He shouldn't have gotten beat. He stopped skating. Kuznetsov's not fast. He's not faster than Panarin.
It was fascinating too. It was just a race right down the boards, and
it wasn't a race. One guy was racing.
The other guy Kuznetsov stayed ahead of him. The entire had a step and was just stayed ahead.
If you look back when the play happened, he looked and he knew he was there.
Yeah,
he didn't have the step. He lost him in the neutral zone. He just stopped skating.
I thought he was a step behind, but okay.
Oh, it was. I was like, you can't have that. Like, again, if you're not scoring too, but these are details that really matter. And people probably get sick of me talking about these details, but
never.
As simple as stopping, just stopping and keeping the play in front of you. and he did it really well in game one. If you remember his goal in game one, he forechecked a neutral zone on Burns. Burns didn't get it in deep on the strong side. It got deflected. That's when he knows, I'm all right, now I'm going, because this is a messed up play. I'm not going to get caught. They're not going to beat us. And that's how he got the separation from Burns. This is just a back check. I'm teaching the 8-year-olds this stuff, and they're getting it. So these guys know it, and it looked like they didn't have a ton of gas left. Maybe they gave more than Carolina did in the first 3 games, and now they're trying to catch up. 2 days, I think is huge. They shouldn't listen to us. They shouldn't listen to the media. They shouldn't listen to anyone. And it shouldn't take 8 minutes before puck drop for Lavi to get him going. This should be festering in them, and I think it is. Knowing the guys I know in that room, I think they're waking up today really angry and opportunity missed. Also, Igor, fantastic game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the other thing. Like,
unbelievable.
I understand the penchant to overreact and all that kind of stuff, but it was a bad game from the Rangers, and they were still up 1-0 at the start of the third. And then they had probably their worst period of the season in the most important period of the season thus far. So it's incredibly disappointing. But I think if you evaluate where the Rangers are at, how they've been playing, I mean, they're, it's not like they're getting blown out here. I mean, that was a bad third period, no doubt.
They had a bad first period in game 4. And
yeah.
They didn't have a good first and second in this game, though. It wasn't like they came back with the vengeance.
No, not at all.
And the game dictated differently. It was 0-0. But when they had to get going, when they got 2 goals quick, they didn't push back, and they were separated.
It was a much different game, but I thought the Rangers' lead was as concrete as the Bruins' lead was over Florida the night before, and you were just waiting. Yeah, I mean, it was just, you were just waiting. It wasn't quite that at the Garden, because there was the chance that Carolina just wasn't going to be able to score. That, somehow Igor was going to be good enough. But after the second period of the Boston-Florida game, Boston's up 2-1, and I thought they had no chance to win the game, none. And so, I was watching it. It was like, I don't understand how they're winning this. I don't know what they're doing. They're win this game 1-0, and in my mind, I'm thinking, well, this isn't 1-0 like it was game 6, because I'm trying to,
Montreal
lead, my angle. I was thinking, well, this wasn't 1-0 the way, in game 6 against Montreal, and there was no helicopter save, but still somehow, they got through. But no, they couldn't get through.
Yeah, again, it comes, but we say, like, you hear coaches say it: defend in 5s, come up in 5s, play in 5s, and it's the understanding of your teammate who has the puck, or your teammate who's on a check, right? That support has to be sort of gapped the right way in terms of how far I am away from either the pile where there's a battle going on, where my check is versus where his check is. I'm going to cover for him if something happens, where I can go to get open for my teammate. And they were just spread out everywhere. And I think it was Martinook's goal where Trouba is in a tough spot, tries to just keep it alive and not throw it away, because they did a little bit too much of that, I thought, all game.
Yeah, they did.
So he does the right thing. He has to kind of turn, and he's got no center support.
Yeah, right.
And the D, you could blame, his partner, but the partner's like, all right, well, he's in the corner. I'm here in front. I can't really go behind to give him an out, because it's like he has possession, but he doesn't. There was little kind of battles like that all game, because Carolina was right on you.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and it always, and when Kreider evaluates games, he is always, it sounds boring, but he's always right. He's always talking about, because he's always talking about the details. The details here, important. The details here, always. And it's not just this year. I mean, really, for as long as I'm, sitting down next to Chris, he would talk about,
We all did when he came in.
We weren't loud enough. We don't communicate well enough on the ice. We didn't do this well. I mean, he's always about the details, and that is essentially what it comes down to.
That's it. And it could be a stick length, Larry. It could be, I could be 5 feet closer, 2 feet closer. That's all. You know what I mean? It's that. That's all it is. And it's all over the ice. You need to assess it. They were slow assessing, slow reacting, and again, had no push to make kind of Carolina have to do those things. The whole game, it was like a drill. You know, in a drill when you're like designated defensive zone, all right, I'm defending the whole time. Even if you get it, it's like, give it back to the coach. The forwards go again.
I mean, you're right. I mean, they were just throwing the puck away all night. They had no time, and that's what I'm saying. And I'm not smart enough I'm not smart enough to suggest Laviolette what they need to adjust. But even in Carolina too, there was really very little flow in Game 4 to the Rangers' attack. They worked hard. They battled themselves back into the game. I'm not complaining about the Rangers' effort in Game 4. I guess I was a little surprised that they weren't able to follow up the third goal with another one the way Carolina did last night. But there was nothing, I don't think, wanting about the effort. But it wasn't sharp. I mean, their guys weren't. The Trocheck line was snuffed. After 3 games of Trocheck, really dancing in their face, they locked him down, and they locked him down again last night. But so I think it's been 2 games now that the Rangers have been stifled. So I believe that there's something, there for the coaching staff to look at.
Like schematically, they can.
Yes.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to expose them. They've done it before. Look, they're in it. So
they're up 3-6.
Pat, there's energy behind what I'm saying here, because again, that happens and you get invested. These guys are going to feel that. It's a very good hockey team still. It's not like they forgot how to play, and their goalie played great. Other guys, they still could have won that hockey game playing like that. They're going to give more. I really think that Steve Valiquette said it yesterday. He's talking to Adam Graves about 94, and between games 6 and 7, there were 2 days. He said, if we play that game a day earlier, we don't win. Yeah. Sometimes in certain points you need that extra day, and I think this will benefit. This is definitely going to benefit the Rangers. If I'm Carolina, I want to play tonight. Yeah. All right. As always, thank you to Larry Brooks for joining us on this energetic but short episode of Up in the Blue Seats. Coming up next, it's my boiling point. All right, we're going back to the well here a little bit. I'm just going to reiterate a point I made. I don't even know if I made it on here or another platform, but I like the playoffs are the best. Everybody loves the playoffs, and I mean, when your team's losing, it's hard, and you get emotional and you get mad or whatever. I get that. That's what makes the playoffs awesome. But like the bickering between fan bases and the arguing between fan bases, and then even in your own fan base about like what's a penalty, what should be a suspension. Yeah, but this guy did this last year and he didn't get that. Like, I get it to a degree. And then now like media members from different cities are arguing back and forth about what should be a suspension or a penalty. It's like, I don't know. It's ruining my fun. I love the playoffs. Stop ruining the fun. Stop arguing about dumb stuff. It's not the reason teams lose for the most part. It might lose one game, but if you're destined to win, you're going to figure out a way to win. So I don't know, pointing fingers, and God, it's so friggin' painful. A bunch of kindergartners complaining. That's all I got.
All right. Energy real high today and Up in the Blue Seats after a couple of losses. Just need a win on Thursday to bring the morale back up, as that seals the deal on episode 157 Up in the Blue Seats, our Rangers podcast on the New York Post. We won't give out coal this week. We will try and give out stars. So, Molly, do you got one for us?
Gotta be Igor. Igor is still Igoring, especially Game 5. I thought he was absolutely spectacular. He's just doing his job back there, and the Rangers are going to need him to keep doing it.
Ryan?
Yeah, I got Laffy just for his game 4 performance. I know it's in a losing effort, but he's reached that ceiling, maybe found a new ceiling. So hopefully he can sort of continue on that. There's a couple other guys too. Everyone had a rough night last night for the most part, but I did like Rempe. I do like what VC's done. They've done, the simple guys that could maybe turn the tide in this. They're going to be asked to do maybe more than they should if the top 6 is getting bottled up. But for now, I'm going to give it to Laugh because he was exceptional in game 4.
I don't think anybody is rewriting their narrative harder than Alexi Lafreniere is this postseason. It's really fun to see. I mean,
Yeah,
good on
Lady
the kid.
Gaga. Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper.
I'm going to give the third star to another guy who's an interesting story and unfortunately ill now. Who knows if he'll play? I got to give credit to Filipino for at least trying to come back here. I think a lot of guys might just check out and call it a season. Obviously, he's dealt with injuries throughout his career. He's been very injury prone, but I give him credit, and there's not many stars to give out this week, so I'm giving the third to him for trying to come back and failed a little bit, but hopefully we'll see him again here in the playoffs. So shout out to Filipino for giving it an effort.
Oh,
right,
give
Brian?
some love. Give some love to Blake Wheeler too. He's grinding. He's trying to come back.
That was the best video of him outside of the glass.
Heck, I've been there. Old guy hurt. Wondering if
Old guy hurt.
Yeah, I've been.
Have
there.
you been by the glass and done anything similar to that when you were out?
No. Well, I wasn't hurt in the playoffs. I played. Actually, I was hurt in the playoffs. It was one game, and I was getting surgery the next day, so I couldn't go.
All right. Well,
maybe would have won if I was there, banging on the glass.
The Boyle effect being by the ice. We will return hopefully after game 6 and a Rangers series win. If not, potentially after a game 7, and we're either looking at the next round or we're saying goodbye to an incredibly unfortunate season once again. And let's not even put that thought in our minds. Let's just say
did, dude.
I gotta lay out the scenarios, just in case.
I got a really busy weekend. All right, let's close this thing up on Thursday, fellas.
Oh, boy.
We never addressed, by the way, it was a big topic, was your white suit was a big topic of conversation.
Don Johnson, man. I look.
Can you give us the details?
You really did. You really did. I'll give it to you.
Oh, geez, thanks. I was I got shout out State and Liberty. These like stretchy suits, man. They're
stretchy suits.
They really are. I can go in there and I have a size in there that I put on and walk out of the store and I have the suit. It's suit is like I've never been able to do that. And they got a bunch of stores popping up everywhere. I'm not getting any money for this, or suits or clothes. So,
but they're giving you the suit for free, right? You're not paying.
No,
shameless plug.
No, full price.
Oh, full price.
Yeah, you can edit that out if you want. But they, I got a green one that's coming. Although the green one I brought down, but I only brought black shoes and a black belt, and it has like a little bit of brown and has brown buttons. You can't really tell, but I can tell. So
I get that. That bothers me too. That bothers me too. No,
non-negotiable.
It's fashion police. Absolutely not.
I can't do it. But
see, now you brought it up. My next one might be free. Now they hear. Now they're hearing you. You could
sponsor him. Yeah, sponsor him.
They don't need to now. I already bought like 5 from them.
You already took his money.
That pinstripe's the same one that you liked like last month too.
Oh yeah.
Jakey.
Yeah. Big fan of a nice suit. So shout out to the white suit. Looked like it could have been a movie star out there. So we'll take MSG Network.
Wait, I got a funny thing. Brian, my mom says that sometimes you look like a little kid first day of school with your hair gelled back.
It's smoke and mirrors. I'm trying to cover up the spots that don't have as much hair on it. Tell your mom. I'm not ashamed to admit that.
She's always like, he looks so cute like a little kid on the first day of school with his hair all gelled back.
I'm always wearing a hat.
Yeah.
He's gonna bring an apple to the broadcast now for the teachers.
Yeah.
Do they do that for you? Do they have like gel, or you do that all on your own, Brian?
I take care of my own hair. At the NHL Network, they do makeup for me. At the Garden, they do not. I tried once. I don't know. That's not for me.
Not a big
Makeup's
makeup guy.
No.
Yeah, makeup is not for everyone. Well, if you liked Brian's suit, give us a thumbs up below on the New York Post Sports YouTube page. Comment below. What color suit should he wear next? And how you feeling? Are you concerned right now? I think the Twitter, there was a lot of concern, but Twitter, there's always concern about everything. So make sure you follow Mollie and Brian on Twitter at Mollie Walker, 2 E's, 2 R's, Brian Boyle at Brian Browse 22. Subscribe wherever you get podcasts. And yeah, we'll be back after hopefully game 6. Thanks for watching Up in the Blue Seats, and we'll talk to you next time.